Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us with The Perspective. I'm Victoria Davis. As we do every Friday, it's time now to turn to the Vampire Report as we take a look back at the week in vampire news, politics, and popular culture. Coming up, something for goth kids to really be upset about, how vampires can provide their own economic stimulus, and in our clip of the week, we'll see an attempted robbery go horribly, horribly wrong. But first, we have a clip from Monday night's premiere episode of The LES, network television's first primetime drama featuring an actual vampire as a principal character. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gents, because this historic program comes to you in the form of a teen soap opera. And it goes a little something like this.
Zach.
Silver. You have silver fillings.
Yeah, but why would you... You're a...
You can't say it, can you? Yes, Jessica, I'm a vampire.
Oh, that's cool.
You and I we're just from different worlds.
I would have let you into mine.
The LES was rushed into production early last fall once the studio execs determined that being the first vampire show on the air would be a potential ratings bonanza. Now, for those of you thinking those execs might have done better to take their sweet time, perhaps you didn't hear that the LES premiered to over 25 million viewers, leaving us with the burning question of how many people will tune into the premiere of the new reality show, Daddy, I'm Dating a Vampire, right here on TBBN next Friday at 9. And if you think I won't be watching, you clearly don't know me at all. Moving on, earlier this week on the TBBN Nightly News, our own Rick Blackwell, in his People We Know segment, brought us a charming story of Tom, a New York City street musician who discovered that vampires can make the best tippers, as long as you play the right songs. Thanks to a little crafty online research, Tom learned how to play a number of 18th and 17th century traditional folk songs. There's just nothing I love more than a good lute solo.
I thought of the idea last month. Everybody says that vampires are rolling in money, just haven't been alive so long.
I figured if I could reach the human side of vampires, I could make them care. I bought some old instruments to help me.
But every so often, the right vampire walks by. We buzzed around the room, made like bees a drowsy hum. Sometimes we're in the shade, sometimes we're in the sun. I think they just listen and it takes them back to that place. I'm making more money off vampires than I ever did playing to humans.
Don't you just love that story? I guess if you're a vampire who can manage to pack away a few pence every month, a few centuries of compound interest is bound to leave you with plenty of disposable income. And now to a report from the blogosphere. We're happy to see that our friends at bloodcopy.com have their site up and running again. Bloodcopy, as you know, has been the online source for all things vampire ever since they came out of the coffin 2 years ago. This week on Bloodcopy, I rather enjoyed this little post on the disappearing goth scene. For those of you at home unfamiliar with goth, it's a post-punk subculture marked chiefly by unironic self-dramatization and a fascination with romanticism, mysticism, the macabre, and death. To oversimplify, goth clubs across the country used to be filled with young people who liked to play dress-up and fantasize about being vampires. The trouble for the club owners is now, of course, their patrons don't need to pretend anymore. Now they can simply become fangbangers or vampire groupies and spend time in actual vampire bars with actual vampires. Here's a look at one goth club owner who's really feeling the bite of this new economic reality. And from the look of things, that red wine also.
Vampirism isn't for everyone, it's only for the chosen. And the chosen used to be us. That's what it was like for the past 25 years in the goth scene. Oh, man, look at this place. I mean, it is midnight and it is Halloween and there's no one here but the kids testing out their new fake IDs. Because they're all out. They want to see the real thing. But screw the vampires. I was here first.
Now, the irony here, of course, is that most vampires have little interest in people dressed up in goth outfits outside of, well, the obvious. My advice to Miss Irving, a decidedly ungoth name if you ask me, is to open a bar as a refuge for vamps who really just don't want to be bothered by goth people. Such a wonderful new world, isn't it? Now cue the music because it's time for our clip of the week. Now, if you've been watching this show for any length of time, you'll know that I just love stupid criminal videos. And have I got a good one for you today? This woman was supposed to be an easy mark for her would-be attacker, but little did her mugger know that in the middle of this ATM withdrawal, he would end up being deposited in our clip of the week. Kind of gives new meaning to the phrase, pick on someone your own size, doesn't it? Now, as disturbing as that video may be, according to authorities, the suspect they have in custody is alive and well. They have, however, been unable to locate his victim. Or was she his assailant? And that will do it for this week's Vampire Report. Thanks again to our friends at bloodcopy.com. Keep up the good work, guys. Up next, what do the United States Senate, the Supreme Court, and a women's volleyball team all have in common? The answer when we return. Stick around.
Visit www.escapetheeverydaysweeps.com from May 23rd through July 3rd and enter the code word HUMAN. You could win $10,000 towards HBO, TV service, internet, phone, and other instant True Blood prizes.